Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to show number 77 of the Pop Culture Gamers podcast. My name's Haydn, and I am here, as always, with both Alan and Steve. Hi, guys, how are you both doing?
Yeah, not bad.
Hey, Hayden. Hey, Steve. How are you keeping? Good to be chatting again.
Yeah, good, thanks.
It's nice when it's all three of us together. Good. It's good.
Yeah, it's always nice when we all manage to be in the same podcast, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
So, Alan, do you want to go first? Tell us what you've been doing.
First, I just want to apologise about last week and kind of midweek shows. As the boys know, I'm having trouble with internet and stuff here in Ireland. It's kind of very hit and miss. Some days it's working, some days it's not. It's and sometimes weak signals and everything. So I can't really guarantee. No, I'm blessed now today. It's been on all day, so I've been catching up with stuff today. Get things downloaded and watch as fast as I can.
Yeah.
Other good news is my wife's feeling better, thankfully. So that's good news.
Yeah, that's really good
I was
news.
only kind of cold flu.
Is your daughter all right as well? Because she was really worried about her, wasn't she?
She's very protective of her, my youngest girl, so I'm just kind of keeping an eye on that as well. The other thing is my run streak has still continued. I've hit day 40 today. 517 miles for the 40 days, so that's not too bad. So the other interesting thing is they've pretty much cancelled all the races now for the rest of the year, so I don't think I'll be going to France in August, which is good. I'm kind of glad about that. So I signed, it's all kind of virtual runs now and things are popping up online, which is really good actually. So I'm after signing up for the Tennessee 1,000 kilometer run. So I don't know if you've ever seen the documentary The Barkley Marathons, the two of you. You mightn't have. It's considered the hardest race in the world anyway. It's in Tennessee. It was on Netflix for a while. I'd say you probably get it online. Well, the guy who organises that's called Laz. He's an absolute kind of outlier. He lives in the middle of Tennessee. He wrote 4 books about his dog, Big Red, and they're on sale on Amazon if you want to check him out. He's got a huge IQ. He's on the spectrum as just loop cuckoo. So he likes doing all these mad races. So he's after setting up the Tennessee 1,000 kilometers starting May 1st. And you've got till the 31st of August to finish it. So that's not too bad. It's like 5 miles a day or whatever. And it's $60. But I decided to go for the out and back. So it's 2,000 kilometers in the 100 days. So that's what I'm starting on the 1st of May. So I might put up the link on the Facebook page if anyone's interested, because there's a map and you submit your daily runs, and then they put a little figure that's going across the whole way across Tennessee. So it's actually going to be good and interactive. There's about 3,000 or 4,000 people taking part as well. There's about 10 from Ireland, I think, from what I can see so far.
Yeah.
So most people, you can walk it, you can cycle it, you can run it. Most people are just going for the 1,000 kilometers, but I'm going to go for the 2,000 kilometer out and back, which means about 25 kilometers a day. So about 15, 16 miles a day for 80 days is my plan. So it's going to be a challenge, to say the least. So, and
what happens if you get back to work though in that time?
Yeah, I've thought about that. I'm gonna just keep it going. Because it's kind of the only thing this year that I can, there's nothing really to look forward to for the rest of the year run wise, you know.
Yeah, because you were going to go on a race in Italy, weren't you?
Yeah, Italy into starting in France, into Italy, back into Switzerland, and back into France again was the main race. Now it hasn't been cancelled yet. They're making an announcement on May the 20th, which is causing uproar online because every other race in the world has been cancelled. I think they're waiting for insurance reasons for the government to tell them they can't do it. I don't think they're covered under the pandemic in their insurance. Who would think of that?
Well, that's the thing that evidently a lot of businesses over here have been getting caught out at, is that the insurances haven't been paying out because they're saying that you're not covered for pandemics.
So I think it's the same thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, look, I mean, if it doesn't get cancelled, I'll be going to that by myself because obviously my wife can't fly over for that. It's too dangerous. So again, that's a race doing by myself is going to be a bit new territory, that kind of a race. I know. So look, I'm just looking forward to this. It's kind of something to set the mind to. I watched a few things this week. I finished the DLC for the Journey Savage Planets, which I think I spoke about last time I was on, and I loved.
Mm.
And I actually did a lot of mobile gaming on my phone because it's kind of what I really, I know when you have no internet or no online, you don't really want to do anything. And some of the games you play on the Xbox won't start either.
Yeah.
And I'd finished all the single player ones. So, and what about yourself now, lads? What are you up to?
Yeah, what about you, Steve?
Well, me? Oh, not too much actually. Like some people, I'm actually at work, so it's been quite hectic as usual. But I did, I played an extra game this week, actually this afternoon. So something old, but something new in a way.
Oh, cool.
So, but it's an old game, but it's been how do I put it? It's been reimagined with maybe more content, and it's not Persona 5, by the way, but that's very close to that. But yeah, see, the post keeps coming quite regular here. I don't know anywhere else. We have no problems with that because I had a parcel from New Orleans turn up, and
sorry to cut you off, do you kind of disinfect the parcels? Would you be that extreme with it? Or some people are.
No, because apparently, if you if I was to say, if I had it and I had it on a screwdriver, it dissipates after so long.
Okay.
But I mean, I'm always washing my hands. I took it out of the cardboard box, put the cardboard into the recycle bin.
Yeah.
So it's not too difficult, and then it's sealed and sealed. I mean, I had a parcel come from on eBay, which I picked up really cheap. I picked up a copy of the score to the classic. I think I mentioned last week. It's a Mad World.
Oh, great movie! Whoa.
And because as I'd say, I've got the new Criterion copy to watch, which is over 3 hours long, which has got extra 20 minutes of footage in it.
Yeah.
So I picked the score up for a £5, and it came opened up. It was still sealed in its wrapper. So the vinyl's not been played. So I was quite chuffed about that. So yeah, so that's quite good. Did a bit of moonlighting last night, which we were going to do Monday. So there's another podcast coming out shortly, which I won't say anything about that, but you'll hear about it when it goes on Twitter. So that was quite good. So yeah, just carrying on trying to beat the public at their own game really when I'm working. It's hard to negotiate when you're working in big stores.
But how do you feel about obviously there's a lot of people not working, and you're kind of going in? Are you okay with that, or?
Yeah, I mean we still try and keep our 2 meter distance.
Yeah.
And it's just the thing is, it's the public that are I'm not saying stupid, but when you're walking down an aisle in Sainsbury's and people aren't sometimes watching who's next to them or near them. If you're standing next to the tomatoes, for example, you'd be 2 meters away waiting for them to finish picking their tomatoes.
Yeah.
But they're trying to muscle in and go in there and think, hold a minute, see these lines on the floor? There's 2 meter lines everywhere. You should be able to work out, where to go. And I won't move anywhere until someone's out of the way. Or if I want to go to cross an aisle, I'll wait till someone else has moved before I move around them, So it's just, it is what it is, really. It's just trying to get used to it.
What I hate is those people who stand in the middle of an aisle to look at what they want to buy.
But then they start picking it all up and putting it back again as well.
Yeah, they really get on my nerves because if you're going to look at something, be aware of who is coming up and down the aisle so that, you're giving maximum distance so they can pass you, rather than having to stand there and wait for you to finish.
Yeah, it's just, I don't like to moan about everyone else, but it just annoys me sometimes that the car park's rammed, and I'm thinking, well, how come,
Do you, this is just like maybe a weird thing for me, but if you do have to pass anybody, do you hold your breath while you walk past?
Excuse me, I'm too busy coughing, so more about that.
Yeah. No, I have my running buffs. Like when I go for my run, if I'm passing someone, I pull the buff up over my face, just to be respectful to them as well, because obviously I'm breathing heavier or there's saliva and sweat and stuff, so I tend to wear a jacket now when I'm running to. So, but it's going to be strange when I want to get back to normal, but when we are finally kind of back to no lockdowns and stuff, what kind of world it's going to be.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
I
going to
looked
make a
on,
big
I looked,
change, you know.
I looked online because last week I should have been seeing Simple Minds in concert,
Yeah.
and they've now rescheduled that date for the 15th of February 2021.
But even then, you'll still, unless the vaccine is out, hopefully by then, like, I mean, that'll have to be mandatory, I'd say, vaccines for it.
Well, I mean, there's quite a few people that reschedule all their stuff, and then if you look at for tickets for some concerts,
Yeah.
they're hoping October's okay because they're still on sale for October.
Yeah, but would you feel comfortable going to it?
Yeah, actually, right. I'm going to new order. I don't care. I will make sure. I've got a hotel booked and everything. I'm not going to miss that. Hopefully, I mean, if it's all rescheduled, fine. But I'm happy going.
See, I wouldn't be no.
Well, I have to admit, I've had 2 events now be cancelled because I was going to see Francis Rossi on stage, doing interviews. That was cancelled, and they offered to reschedule it, but it's for next year. And I thought, well, I might be dead then.
Don't say that, Jesus.
But the thing is, though, they have to. You either ask for your money, give you the option for your money back, or you go for the option of the rescheduled date.
Yeah,
I mean, I've still got. I think what was it? I've got War of the Worlds already pre-booked for April next year.
Yeah.
So,
well, I'm waiting to hear back from the company that does the Pet Shop Boys because they've just cancelled and are rescheduling, but you can have your money back, and I'm just going to get my money back because I think. Even, in like a year's time, I'm not sure I'd want to go to massive.
Yeah, I'm the same, you see. It's like they're opening cinemas now and things, movie theaters in Texas and America yesterday.
Oh, no. Yeah, but hold on a minute. Have you seen those demonstrations and all those?
Yeah. We won't see. I know.
Come on. Madness. I mean, I've got a lot of respect for the guys across the pond, but there's some of these. I mean, you don't see that over here, do you?
Yeah, but when you have someone who's in charge of the country telling you it's okay to do this and that and not taking responsibility, people do listen to him,
Well, they're saying that it's against our constitution of all this stuff, and I know I want the shops open. I want to have a haircut.
Yeah, I know.
I haven't had a haircut. I desperately need one, but I'm going to look like a tramp for a while. I must admit, but
just get a razor.
Yeah. I just think...
I can't. Not on my hair. I need to shave it off.
Okay.
Well, that's what I don't... I mean, clipper, a hair, proper...
Yeah, I've tried to... I think they're going up in price now. They're going to be as rare as toilet rolls and, everything else was.
Well, I picked my ones up for 42 quid.
All right.
That's not bad.
And that was off Amazon. And when I ordered them, it said... that there were going to be like 3 weeks for delivery. They came 2 days later.
Yeah.
So
I can get. Yeah, I suppose does that class as being essential items then?
It doesn't matter when it's Amazon.
No, it does.
They deliver anything.
No, but what I'm saying is Amazon Prime.
It came as Amazon Prime. I didn't pay any extra postage or anything.
Yeah, because Amazon Prime will tell you that depending on the product. Like I ordered a paperback, and that's not coming. I ordered that 2 weeks ago, and that's not coming until about end of the month.
I think that the way
that's next week now, but
yeah, I think the way that they do it is if they have space and they're delivering in your area, they'll stick it on. Otherwise, it just gets shuffled down.
I've got after chatting to one of the guys on Facebook. Sorry if I don't remember his name, but I just ordered some Bond scores. And they're coming Wednesday. So, Oh, by the way, I'm not sure if you did know, but the pre-order for the Jaws 4K is out, which I've done, because that's coming out on the 1st of June.
Okay.
And there's a special edition with a book and some postcards and all sorts of bits and pieces. So I've ordered that as well in 2 different places to cover myself on bases, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Because if there's a film I want to actually have in 4K, it will be Jaws.
Yeah.
That's coming out about the 1st of June, so near my birthday, so that'd be all right. My classic birthday present. So anyway, Alan, forget me. What have you been up to, Haydn?
Well, another week, another lockdown, so I've been next to nowhere. Dug out everything I needed to set up my old Laserdisc player.
Oh, how'd you get on with it?
Yeah, I saw that on Facebook, yeah.
Yeah, well, that hadn't been on for 20 years because I very quickly upgraded to DVD when it came out. Saying when Laserdisc, even though it came out in the 80s, didn't take off until about 95, 96, and then by about...
Laserdisc was going 78 in America, wasn't it?
Oh, it'd been going a long, long time. It's been going as long as CDs because it's basically the same technology, but it's like bigger. Anyway, when DVDs came out, they came out about what, 98, somewhere around there.
Yeah, around then, yeah.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah, and I was an early adopter of that, and I ditched Laserdisc at warp speed. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah.
Because the DVDs were much cheaper, and I used to get a lot of Laserdiscs from a shop that was called Popcorn, and it was somebody who used to go over to America and bring back loads of Laserdiscs from America. But you ended up paying a premium price for it. But bearing in mind, this is sort of like very early internet. Amazon was hardly a thing, and I think they only sold books at the time. And by the time 98 came, Laserdiscs were in HMV at Middlesbrough, which was my most local, place to buy them.
Yeah.
And then in, like 98, 99, DVDs came, and that was it. So I stopped using the Laserdisc player. Anyway, I kept it, and I kept all of my Laserdiscs. So I thought, right, it's time to, dig that out and let's get it working. So I thought, well, I don't think my TV on the back actually has a SCART socket. And I didn't want to run a SCART lead that long anyway from where my Laserdisc player is. So I got a SCART to HDMI adapter.
Yeah.
Which works incredibly well, I have to say. It's powered off USB, SCART one end, HDMI the other. That then goes into my 4K switcher box, and then into my amp, and then into my TV. So it's got quite a convoluted sort of way of getting around it all, but it works perfectly well. And I put my first my Laserdisc in, and shall we say that the playback was a little bit dodgy, as in it kept skipping backwards and stuff like that. Then I fast forwarded a chapter, and then it played everything through at like 20 times speed, and then I ejected the disc, put it back in, played it again, played perfectly.
I was going to say, did you clean it first?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you think I would have got it out and actually given it a nice wipe before I put it in there?
Well, the disc was perfect. Anyway, there was nothing on the disc because the disc was in a record sleeve, which was in the Laserdisc sleeve cover.
Yeah.
And the way that I've always put records in is I put the open end inside so that the dust, doesn't really go down corners.
I know what you mean.
And then I did the same thing, putting the Laserdisc into a plastic, record sleeve cover as well. So it was like airlocked at two ends, basically, so that dust very unlikely to get in. And I picked out the disc, and the disc was absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
After 20 years, which was amazing. And anyway, I played it, and second time playing, after I ejected and put it back in, it seemed to have sorted itself out and played absolutely perfectly. So I watched a couple of episodes of Deep Space Nine on Laserdisc. Well, Deep Space Nine and the original series.
Cool.
Star Trek. And it was both of the Tribble ones.
That's right. I remember you saying about that, yeah.
Yeah. So anybody who saw the picture that I put on Facebook, that was actually a Laserdisc. It wasn't a record. It looks like a record. It's on my turntable, but it is actually video.
Yeah, you don't want to play that on a turntable.
No, you'll get awful sound out of that. But it was quite a bit of a nostalgic thing. So my son is absolutely mesmerised by the fact that there are these sort of like CDs that are 12 inches across, which is the only way to describe them. And what blows his mind even more is the way that Laserdiscs operate, because there are different sort of formats of Laserdisc. And one of the best examples that I've got is the Mission Impossible one, where this is the original movie, and that Laserdisc comes on three sides of a Laserdisc. So you get so far into the movie, and then it tells you to flip the disc over. And
How annoying! I mean, then at the time it was something you were used to doing, and then obviously VHS came into play. But I mean, I'd rather watch my 4K box set of Mission Impossible than the Laserdisc version, to be honest.
Well, to be honest, I didn't get it out for 4K, Mission Impossible. And to be honest, the quality, it's standard definition. So it's not exactly the highest quality at the best of time anyway. But it's quite interesting because there's, like I said, 2 recording formats on Laserdisc. And one of them will record about an hour onto a side of a disc, and the other one will record half an hour because it's an improved sample rate or something. So as a result of that, depending upon how they've recorded it onto the disc, but on the Mission Impossible one disc is recorded with one type, and then the second disc is a completely different one. So it's interesting. But I've also on there got my Star Wars special edition version of the movies, which I got from America, and that comes in a big box. I think there's about 6 laserdiscs or 8 laserdiscs in that. It's also got a documentary on it as well. But I got the American version of that, not the British version. And the reason why I got the American version is because the British version, being PAL, had more data in terms of what was recorded onto it. Because the PAL screen was 480 lines rather than 400 lines, whereas the NTSC version was 400 lines tall, which meant that they could then encode the Dolby Digital soundtrack on the disc as well, but there wasn't the room to record it on the British version. So, nowadays, you can't imagine that on this sort of technology. You can download a HD movie in like a couple of minutes, whereas this is like 3 discs of a movie that is at standard definition, and you could actually have it so that there wasn't enough room on the disc to put Dolby Digital, which is again in itself old.
And were they expensive back then?
Yeah, I mean the Star Wars box set I've got, which is just the original trilogy, was 120 quid. Some of the laser discs I was buying back then, this is 24 years ago. Some of them were £20, some of them were £30, some of them were £35. I think Mission Impossible was £35, which is probably about the equivalent of about 70 nowadays.
Yeah.
Thinking about how inflation and all of that sort of stuff. So it's quite it's a lovely technology. Very, very old school, and it's more sentimental, but also there's some stuff on there that I can't really, haven't seen in other places. Like, for example, there's a movie with Michael Keaton, one of my favourite Michael Keaton movies, which is called My Life.
Oh, okay.
And that is a movie about a man who is dying of cancer and then finds out his wife, who's played by Nicole Kidman, is pregnant.
Yeah, he makes the videos.
Yeah, that's right. And it's based on a real life story, but Michael Keaton's fantastic in it. Really is fantastic. So yeah, it's a good. It's good to get that back again. And then I've got all like the traditional ones like Aliens and The Abyss, and I don't have The Abyss on laser on a DVD or Blu-ray. So
we'll wait for the 4K to come out actually at the moment.
Yeah, well, I might just watch it on Laserdisc for the time being. But I remember watching that and being blown away by the quality of the picture. But that was on a 21-inch PAL TV, which was a big TV back in those days. But also you've got to remember that the CRTs, the way that they aligned the picture, made them look a little bit better than on the modern day TVs.
Right.
As well. So, yeah, it's interesting. So that's what I've done this week.
Oh, yeah. Did you see any of that? They did that charity event, didn't they, with the Comic Relief and the children needing one little hit for a couple of hours?
No, I missed that.
No, and so they had some of the say the bits of content they used. Like, for example, there was a Skype call, and it was David Tennant playing the teacher and Catherine Tate being, the girl that she plays in it. And she was, have you done your homework and that? And she's having having a banter between him and David Tennant, the teacher, and that. It's quite funny, I must admit. It's worth a look at.
I'm just looking at that, so probably on YouTube or something.
Yeah, and also they had, Steve Coogan and Rob Brydon, and they were doing a Skype call as well.
Okay.
Having a chat while they're in lockdown. And it's really weird. And I was watching Graham Norton, and this week's Skype call for him, one of them was Thor himself was on there.
Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So he had an interview on Skype.
Yeah. So yeah, he's in movies out. I'll be talking about that later on.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, I watched it.
Okay. I've heard some reviews. It's pretty good, apparently.
Yeah, I've lots to say about it now, I have to say.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Well, in that case, then, let's move on to Gaming This Week. All right, so Gaming This Week. And Alan, do you want to give us your news?
I will. There's not much news around at the moment. With the old game. Just a few things I picked out here and there. The first one, which is pretty big, is Red Dead Redemption is coming to Xbox Game Pass on May 7th, with GTA 5 leaving the same day as it arrives. This is a big entry now in the Xbox Game Pass, and again, another great incentive to jump on the Game Pass bandwagon. It's a pretty big game to get onto that for however long it stays on there. So another good reason to have Game Pass. Another quick one is that Nintendo had 168,000 accounts kind of breached this week, with a lot of kind of people had money for V-Bucks and stuff taken. One person I know, we mutually know, he had £160 taken out in Fortnite V-Bucks. So you can actually do the double authenticity if you go into two-step verification in Nintendo Switch. It's very easy to do, so I definitely recommend people to do that, because that's a lot of accounts to be hacked. Definitely. So if you can do it straight from your Nintendo web page on your browser, and it's actually really good. They get you download a Google a verification app, which I've never seen before, and I have it on my phone, and then they bring up a QR code, is that what they're called, on the screen? Yeah. So you click that, and that gives you the code, and you type that into as your second verification, and I did it anyway, so like £160 is a lot, and I've heard other people had a lot more taken. So just like always, if any of your, at the current climate, any of your PS4s or any of that kind of stuff, do the double verification. I think is a smart way to go.
Do it on everything, because you can also do it on your Microsoft account as well.
I actually had it on pretty much everything except for my Switch Nintendo, so I sorted that in straight away. Next big one is, in fairness now, Sony are giving away free games for, because we're all kind of staying at home due to the corona epidemic. So they gave away 2 great games. Actually, one is a kind of a pack, I suppose. They gave away the Uncharted Nathan Drake collection for free. And Journey for free, and you don't need PlayStation Plus to actually get them. So
we mentioned that last week, didn't we? I think.
Yeah, we did. The one thing I can't quite understand about this though is because they're saying that they're giving it away, but both the Nathan Drake collection and Journey have both been on PlayStation Plus, particularly the Nathan Drake collection, which was 3 months ago. So they are giving it away, but to the minority of users, because Journey was also a PlayStation Plus game as well.
I agree with you there, but the fact is that you don't need Plus and that you get to keep it, I think that's, know.
I know what you're saying, but whereas NAC 2, they've never given that, so why are they giving it to Germany and China and not to us?
Well, I got it from China anyway. NAC 2, it's easy to log in and get it.
Yeah.
So it's not a bad game, NAC 2, in fairness. I enjoyed it. So I forgot about that from last week. So the next one, hopefully, is the new Cyberpunk limited edition was released. Have you seen it?
No. I thought that was a joke.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I wrote down here in my notes that it looks terrible, like they gave a 3-year-old with crayons and just told them to go draw on a controller on an Xbox. It glows in the dark when you switch it off. And there's 45,000 of them made. So the game itself isn't coming out until September the 17th, so it just goes to show that they probably had this deal in place, because the game was actually due out in April. Last week the
It
game
was,
was
that's
due
right,
out,
yeah.
so I think they probably had all those console. And if they'd waited till September, it would have been too close to the November new Xbox, I think, and they might have sold them. The box itself isn't too bad, but that controller is terrible looking. I rarely dislike an Xbox controller. They usually come out with some really nice designs, you know.
Oh, was that the one that has like that two-tone left and right in different colours?
And it's all scraped and it just looks terrible. It doesn't look, in my opinion, I think it looks terrible. So yeah, and then finally, if you haven't picked it up already, Pac-Man Champions Edition 2 is given free on everything: PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PC, free to download till May the 10th. And they're also giving away Hitman Go on iOS, and today they did the new Alien Blackout as well on Apple and iOS, Android as well. So there's nice kind of few games being handed out, given out for free while people are staying at home.
Yeah, Hitman Go's not a bad game.
Yeah, I've been playing it on my phone. I'm actually enjoying it. It's pretty tactical. You kind of have to really, plan out your moves and stuff. So I've been enjoying it.
Yeah.
There as well. And that Alien Blackout is basically the Alien Isolation game, I think, on that came out there a couple of years ago. But it's on the phone. It's kind of a sequel, a sequel to that.
Right.
So that's free today.
So is that 3D first person?
Yeah.
Oh, right, I'll check that out.
I don't know if I have it on my phone there. No, I haven't played it yet. So I think it was free today.
Yeah, so Pac-Man 2, I've literally in the last 5 seconds got it downloaded now on the Xbox.
Yeah, I got it on the PlayStation and the PC as well. I got it in all formats. That's a good game. I like to give the.
I did play the first one if memory serves, but
this one's better.
Yeah, is it really?
Yeah, and because I like they have the arcade adventure mode, and you get 3 stars. It's this kind of same Angry Birds principle, you know. If you get a perfect, you get 3 stars, which kind of does make you go back to each level to do better. You know, it moves very fast. It looks stunning, the visuals in it. So yeah, again, it's something for free, and in this current environment, people have much to spend, and that's something that can kind of pass. Can leave your brain at the door and just have a bit of fun.
Yeah.
Anything for free is good. So that's kind of
absolutely.
Free is our favourite price, isn't it?
It is for me.
It'd be nice if you could get other types of media doing something similar.
Yeah.
So like movies and stuff like that, maybe.
Well, they have. From what I've been seeing is Amazon now. After we get it here, they've got a section now with a good selection of stuff for free. You don't have to be signed up to the Prime. Audiobooks, music and stuff it's in Prime, and they've released a lot of stuff. YouTube have the kids one for free. Apple are doing stuff. So Netflix, they're all kind of doing small stuff, all right,
Yeah.
But the gaming side of it seems to be giving a lot of stuff away for free, I think, lately.
Well, I think it's amazing. You're going to see like all these big multiplayer games where I'm not saying I'd like to be in their shoes right now in lockdown, because I probably obviously wouldn't be, but there's the amount of people playing Destiny and Fortnite is probably gone up tremendously over the last few weeks. And I suppose it's good for business at the end of the day.
Yeah, sure didn't. 12 million people logged into Fortnite for that concert. I don't know who he was, Travis or somebody.
Oh, right.
It was a big online concert, a virtual concert in the Fortnite. And 12.3 million people logged in. It beat, it was the highest ever login by, the last one was 10 million, I think, which was for the Black Hole event or something, I don't know.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that. Yeah,
that was where they redid the whole map, wasn't it?
Yes, okay. Well, apparently this 12.3 million logged in for an hour concert or something. I don't know how long the concert was. I don't play Fortnite now, so I don't like Fortnite. So.
Excuse me.
No.
So yeah, that's my news, unless you've anything to add to it, boys.
Not really.
No, I think we mentioned about the console, about PlayStation 5 last week being going to be in short supply, but other than that, I can't think there's a lot more out at the moment.
No, I don't think that there is. It's just quiet, isn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely a time for the catalog for games and stuff, and news is very slim, and kind of it's all cancellation is the main news now, really, isn't it? This game is not till next year, or this,
Yeah.
What is like even the future? I suppose you're coming up now with the games being released, but not a lot, is there?
No. Well, Steve, do you want to do the new releases?
Yeah, I'll
Thinking of those.
yeah, so these are all, well, first 4 out on the 28th and the 4th. So we've got Gears Tactics on PC from Xbox Game Studios. Moving out on all platforms, PC, PS4, Xbox, and Switch from Team 17 Digital. Sakura Wars, PlayStation 4 from Sega. And on the 29th, Dread Nautical on all platforms from Zen Studios. So
There's 2 there I'm interested in. Actually, Gears Tactics I can't wait for. I'm looking forward to that. And that Moving Out's getting very good reviews. Have you seen anything on it?
No.
It looks very funny. It's supposed to be very good. You have a time limit to move everything out of the house. I'd say on Switch, even playing.
I do that too often as it is in the real world, so I probably wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah, but have a Google. If you haven't looked at it, look at stuff on it. It looks quite fun. I'd say if you're playing like couch co-op with your kids and stuff, you'd have a good laugh at it.
Yeah. Okay. In that case, then let's have a look at the subscription games. So I don't think we've heard anything what's going to be on Games with Gold or PlayStation Plus, but on Twitch there's a couple of new games. There is Yondo the Celestial Elephant and also Old School Musical. And in terms of Epic, until the 30th of April we've got For the King, and then after that we've got Amnesia, The Dark Descent and Crashlands.
Yeah, and I saw today also, I think on Twitch is it? On Steam, sorry. Total Shogun 2 is going to be free tomorrow as well.
Is it?
Yeah. They're free
Right,
to
cool.
download, free to, which is actually a pretty good game if you like those real-time strategy ones. So, yeah.
Okay, brilliant. Also, just as we've talked about Games with Gold and Game Pass, and what's the fact that Red Dead Redemption it is Red Dead, isn't it? It's going
May
on there.
7th.
May 7th. Also, if you're on the PlayStation side, PlayStation now is just getting better and better because at the moment on there, you can actually play Control, Just Cause 4, Lego Worlds, Marvel Spider-Man, and Shadow of the Tomb Raider as well. So they're getting newer games. I know that they're still slightly older games there, but they are improving what's on there, and I think there's hundreds.
Is that the full game
on that.
Control or just demo?
No, that's a full game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, really.
Because I've been close to pulling the trigger on that because they're doing a deal. It's like €35 for the year or something, or 40. It's very €4 a month. It works out.
I can tell you now, Alan, it is well worth investing in that 35 whatever euros, because now those games you can download. You don't need to have the internet, streaming of the games. So
okay.
Yeah, it's much more like Game Pass now, and the amount of games that are available on that system to actually download, it actually makes it a credible way of obtaining games now, just like Game Pass.
I'm going to do that tonight, so.
Plus, you can also play them on your PC as well. You don't have to necessarily play them on a PlayStation. You can actually play them, through the PlayStation Now app on the PC.
Well, it's just the Control has held its price pretty well over here, and even online it's like 30-something euros on sale.
Yeah.
So if that's on there, if I get that.
Well, what you could do is you could try just getting a week's trial.
Yeah, maybe. I have a week's trial free in it at the moment. Oh yeah, I could do Control for a week. Yeah, there you go. That's an idea. Thank you, Haydn.
Yeah, no problem at all.
I'll do that tonight, maybe.
Okay, so Steve, do you want to go first on what you've been playing this week?
Yeah, so just get Destiny 2 out of the way. They started a new event called the Guardian Games.
Yeah. So
I've been playing that, and I've completed the quest for the first part from Ave Levante. So from her, I've got the what do you call them now? This is so bad. So
bounties.
Say again, sorry. Yeah. So you get, once you've done all the bounties and everything else, the main part of the quest there, the first part of the main part, you get an exotic.
Right.
This is not the weapon. This is the other part of your armor. So I picked that up today. And it's all right. It's a different type of grind. I prefer this actually to the actual season grind, which, not to confuse it with getting to 100, but the idea of these, with the going down into the tunnels and doing all these bits and bobs for the computers and all that, I just find that a bit lackluster and a bit repetitive. And that's what I think why you, Hayden, have probably have ditched it for now, apparently. So I don't blame you. I don't blame you for that.
I think that this season has been the worst season so far.
I think
by a long way.
I'm listening to IGN's Fire Team chat, and they've said something similar. I mean, I think those that have had the opportunity to play Trials, I think have probably got a better deal out of that, probably.
See, I'm not interested in Trials.
I'd like to give it a go.
I have no interest in that, and evidently there's been a lot of people complaining about it anyway.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, saying it's not as good as it used to be and all that sort of stuff. But Trials, I don't get much enjoyment out of PvP. PvP. I'm more of a PvE sort of player, and it doesn't do anything for me. And all of this with the bunkers, I'm just so sick of having to go through and empty the 3 bunkers every time. And I know that you can get the little download or whatever, but then you don't get as much, credit and XP for clearing out the bunker. But I just can't be bothered. And I think that was what was starting to make me go away. And then I have done a little bit of the event that is going on, now, the Guardian Games. And I'm just sort of a bit meh.
Well, I've been doing the medals, been churning those up like you wouldn't believe, and doing the bounties to contribute as well. So I don't mind that. And obviously we had Iron Banner, I think, last week. So the community games like that, I think, are quite good.
I think the problem with the bounties, though, is it's sort of like with Pathfinder, you get 20 kills with a melee kill, for example. So you hit one person, and then you've got to wait for that to recharge, and that takes blooming ages if you're not set up for melee. Yeah, but that's the problem. If you're not bothered about melee, you're more focusing on grenades.
I know what you're saying, but what I was doing, because you only get the drops of the different fragments that you collect. Yeah. Well, it was the 2 ways I was getting the most fragments was playing Gambit, because there's 3 of you doing it there, and if they will drop fragments as well.
Mm-hmm.
And also when I was doing the Nightfall and Strikes as well, where that was the last thing I did to just finish off the 100% on it.
Yeah.
For the exotic, for the armor. So, and then next week there'll be another armor piece, I should imagine, for the next to do it again. So it would be, I suppose, that 4 weeks worth, maybe something like that.
Yeah.
But hey ho, I haven't played any Final Fantasy this week. I've not really had the opportunity to be honest.
Okay.
But I started playing a game that came out, and it's a re-release from 2011, and it was on the PlayStation, and it went onto the Xbox. And it's called Catherine Full Body.
Mm-hmm.
Rings any bells?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, at the moment, the PlayStation is doing a 70% off on a lot of JRPGs.
Okay.
Including this. So I picked this up today and started it. They've got a load of extra ways of playing the game, sort of online, offline. You've got another character involved in the story. Her name's Rin. So the endings are going to be slightly different. There's different ways. Now, do you remember the puzzles on the blocks?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they can be very frustrating at the best of times.
Yes.
Especially when you've got some half-assed backside chasing you with legs. If I remember rightly the last time I played it. But there's other ways to do that. There's other ways within the settings where you can have it like you can, if you struggle and die, you can hit auto complete, and then he'll start from the beginning and he'll go all the way to the top for you. So if you really want to just enjoy the story and go through that, you can always use that as a way of getting out of the nightmares part of it.
Okay.
So I'm enjoying it. I originally got this on the Xbox back in the day, but I didn't complete it because sometimes it was a bit challenging. But they have twisted and sort of tweaked it a bit with the different settings as well.
Mm-hmm.
So this came out originally at $60, but 70% off. It's much cheaper. So I had a big browse. There's a load of JRPGs on the store there they're doing at the moment. So it's well worth, if you're into JRPGs, it's worth just having a quick look at that lot and see what they got.
Look, yeah. I'm going to have a look at what I'm on tonight.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Persona 5 Persona 5 Royale Edition isn't on there because that I can't warrant paying for when I've got the original game and they've just added a couple of bits and it's still the same price as the original game was.
Okay.
But they do have the original Persona, and it's £12, Persona 5.
It's not bad.
So that's well worth a purchase in my book. I say I've done over 100 hours in that game, complete and started a second time. So I would thoroughly recommend giving that one a whirl if you want to have a look at that. So yeah, I just, if you want something like, I know Alan, you want to probably not spend as much maybe, and
yeah, I'm kind of looking for my next game now. I think Gears Tactics is going to be on the Game Pass. Tomorrow, the 28th? You said, Hayden, Steve.
yeah,
That's got I love those kind of XCOM style games. So I think I'm going to give that a try.
And Control.
Yeah.
On your hours trial. On your week's trial.
I didn't realize Control. I thought Control was only a demo. I didn't realize it was a full game. Like, if that's on there, I'm going to have a look now tonight when we finish up here. I'm going to go on to the PlayStation.
But that's on now. That's not on the PlayStation Store. Don't forget.
Oh no, actually, I'm going to go into my PlayStation. You can browse through all the games on the PlayStation. You can't do it on the website.
No.
So I'm going to have a look and see. Yeah. So I thought it was just a demo, you see, because I was looking at the website. So I'm definitely going to look. But
once you subscribe, it'll say that you can download it.
Yeah, and then I'm going to jump onto that 70% deal as well. Have a look and see what's in there. Thanks, Steve. I might pick up something.
There's some stuff there for about £6-7 as well.
Oh, that's
so Final Fantasy VIII Remastered is £8.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I might have a look at them. There's some good choices there, so.
It's a hell of a lot.
That's the one thing about PlayStation. Their sales and deals, not that I'm knocking Xbox, because you have the Game Pass, which is a great deal. But the sales and the PlayStation, price-wise, over here in Ireland, have always been way better. I found.
Yeah. That's it. Anyway, Alan, do you want to say what you've been up to?
Oh God, sorry. I haven't done much gaming. I'll just go quickly into. I got the DLC for Journey to the Savage Pledge, which I spoke about a couple of weeks ago, which I finished, and actually got great feedback on from a couple of the lads and other guys who were playing it on PC and picked it up as well on the Game Pass, and they've been enjoying it as well. The DLC came out. It was called Hot Garbage. It's framed kind of as another story mission. Like you've got your aerospace character who's been called back again to investigate another kind of named area, DLC 1. Once you get there, you soon discover it's kind of a retirement resort for like the Boomer Dale uprising targeting the older generation. You find that a corporate competitor then's kind of taken it over and turned it into a toxic waste dump site. So if you've played the original Journey, you'll understand what's going on in that. You're kind of tasked straight away then with 3 dumping sites and puzzle areas to kind of complete it with mini bosses. The bosses are actually really good in this one as well. The final boss is a bit of a challenge because they introduce a new flying mechanic, which it took me a while to get used to it. I didn't like it, but once I figured it out, I enjoyed it. Like the original game, Hot Garbage DLC is like, for me, it's a collector's dream. You know what I'm like? I'm OCD in collecting stuff. I have to check everywhere. So they've added like 22 new hidden postcards. They've added 50 new items to the Kindex, which you kind of go into to see what, like, to read off information, what they've added and stuff on, and the information on stuff. Most of it's all kind of plants, flora stuff that they've indexed, but you have to scan them all, and once you've them all scanned, you get upgrades and stuff and points. They've 7 new life forms in it. They've also got 2 new robot predators as well added to the mix, so that's pretty good. No, it does. The level does feel small compared to the other levels on Savage Planet, the original game. They were much bigger than this one, but this one now adds the flying mechanic, or it's kind of more you're floating through these purple rings that boost your jetpack as you go through them. So you kind of have to, as you hold the flying mechanic or the flying button, your jetpack depletes its fuel, and so you got to get to the next ring. So it's all about kind of controlling it. So it does take. I took me about a half an hour to get used to it. I was quite frustrated, and it felt clunky, but then it just clicked, and I was able to kind of fly. You get like an achievement for flying through 12 rings in a row. I think when I did it, it was like 0.001% was the achievement for us. No one had. I don't think anyone had it done. It was a very low rare achievement, and I started laughing when when it popped. I love that noise for the rare achievements. There's new upgrades. You get a new kind of toxic face mask that helps, because one of the sections you have to go through chemicals, because it's all chemicals that have been dumped there. So you upgrade your mask. They're giving you these new underwater boots for making you walk under, because you're on the ocean, and some of the collectibles are in the ocean, and some of the stuff you have to scan is in there. I cleared it in about 90 minutes, pretty like going nice steady pace.
Mm-hmm.
And about another 30 minutes for the rest of the collectibles for the 100%. The download size was only 10 megabytes, which was tiny, and it cost about €7. For me, I got 2 hours out of it for the €7, and I really enjoyed to be back in the world again. I'm hoping to do kind of more stuff like this as well in the future. If anyone has finished the Journey to Savage Palette and wants to jump back in again, I'd highly recommend it. It was good. The second game is a quick one. I don't know if you played it. Is Gears Pop on the mobile?
I'm downloading as you speak, funnily enough.
Okay. I was previewing that one.
Okay. I hadn't really played it that much, and then when I had no internet, I was on my phone, and I started playing, and it's very addictive. It actually is turning out to be very addictive. But it's a little bit frustrating as well on their free to play mechanic they have. So Gears Pop brings together kind of the iconic Gears characters in the Funko Pop style that we all love. I buy them. I don't know, do you buy them?
It's like the not the EA big budget one, but it's like Plant vs Zombies, isn't it? The mobile game.
I've done here. It's kind of a tower defense style genre. It's kind of how I describe it.
Yeah.
So basically, in this Gears Pop, 2 players battle by playing tokens on the play field. On the field where they're fighting, which spawn kind of the Funk Pop style characters like Marcus Phoenix or whatever kind of deck you set up. The characters, so then there's like cover points that you advance on your enemies to these turrets that you have to destroy. And whoever destroys the turrets the fastest wins the game, or within the 2.5 minutes. You might only destroy one opponent's turret, but if they don't destroy any of yours, you win. So it becomes quite tactical and defensive. You could kind of destroy someone's turret and then decide just to become defensive and leave them kind of rush you and hold them back, so then you'd win the game. Because it's very much like the Clash Royale game, if you've ever played that.
Yes.
So what I liked about it is that you build out your deck as you play the game. So you can get like snipers and grunts and grenades, different styles. They have like barriers. You can have your own warrior or your own kind of turrets and all that kind of stuff. So the gauge fills up, and as the gauge fills up, then you just click whatever sniper you want, and you put him onto the field of battle, and then he'll appear. So it's very tactical. I loved it. When I first played it, it was a very kind of fast-paced game. I've been kind of just dropping as soon as somebody was available. I had enough energy. I was dropping them down onto the field of battle straight away instead of just. And then I did a bit of research in this and looking at decks that are good. And it's better if you kind of slow it down. I found that if you kind of play the snipers and put them to the first wall and leave them hold back, and they snipe from a distance, and then while they're sniping, you place other, say, Marcus Phoenix, who's quite strong, and he can go up on the side. And so I actually ended up being more tactical and I would have very little on the field at some stage, but still be controlling it. And, so the only downside for me was it's very much heavy on the buy to win.
Yeah.
thing.
Isn't most things like that?
No, I found this probably, like, usually you can play these free to games and you do get they do look kind of give you good upgrades and up leveling up, and they kind of keep you going in the game. But this one, the leveling up is really, really slow. And when you kind of get crates that open every couple of hours, or you can open them if you pay 5 gold or whatever, which is fine. Most of those free to play do all that kind of stuff. But this one, when they give you like, you need 4,000 coins, we'll say, to do an upgrade on your sniper to bring it to level 5, right? They only give you like 200 or 300. Sometimes they don't give you any coin if you win a game. So you could play 20 games just to upgrade one of your cards or your soldiers. So it's like it just feels very slow to level up. And
Yeah.
then you look, and then you kind of, and I found myself hovering over the button store to look and see how much is 40,000 coins and stuff, and they're not, it's 4.99 or whatever. That's how they get you, like, because I'm kind of level 7 or 8 now, and I've like won 50, 60 games, and I've lost a good few as well. But I'm enjoying the horde mode. The horde mode's pretty good. You can play co-op, and there's 3 waves, and you got to play it together to bring down the big mechs or the big, or bring down something. That's quite fun, and that you can level up pretty good in that. But there's very few people online to do that with as well. It's hard to find people because you have to do it with a friend. You can't, or a squad member. You can't do it with a random, which is surprising. I'm enjoying it. It's a good fun game. I've found myself.
It kills some time when you're on your own in a little dark room with the lights on.
Huh?
Kills
Yeah.
some time.
It's actually more than that, Steve. To be honest with you, I found myself like I'm constantly picking up the phone and having one more game, and I've got some good achievements after popping on it. It's just, I know it hasn't come out. It didn't come out to much fanfare. It wasn't really liked when it came out, from what I was reading. But for some reason, it's just clicked to me. I'm enjoying it. I found myself playing it a lot. So if you like that kind of stuff, I think you can get it as well on the Microsoft Store for the PC. I'm not sure. But it might be there as well for the PC, if you want to use mouse and keyboard or something. But I quite like it on my phone. It's just the same. It's just drag and click. There's no real, It's all about building your decks, certain decks for if you want to be defensive, if you want to be offensive, if you want to kind of be middle of the ground, which, so it's a good game. I enjoyed it. They're the 2 games I was playing anyway.
Yeah.
What yourself, Hayden?
Gears Pop is on the PlayStation, on the PC store. On
Is it? I
Windows.
thought it was. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So for me, I've been playing and finished Final Fantasy VII Remake. So
this game.
Yeah, complete the story in 36 hours. The last few chapters were really long. Probably each chapter was probably about as long as chapters 1 to 4 combined.
Right.
To be honest, it was massively long. Some of those games definitely sets up the pathway for the next one. Absolutely, definitely. When you get to the end, I'm not going to spoil the end for anyone though. And looking at the visuals in the game, because you do get to sort of like see the rest of the world in images, as it were, and some video. And if they do it and it looks half as attractive as it does in some of those sort of like flash forward sort of scenes, the world will look absolutely stunning and beautiful. So I'm really looking forward to see what that looks like. The other thing as well is when you complete the game, you also get a chapter select. And you can also choose a difficulty as well. So, you can actually go in and, go to level 7, which you enjoyed, and play on hard mode, for example, which hard mode doesn't get unlocked until you actually finished anyway. So, well worth it. Absolutely thoroughly enjoyed it. I think it's definitely the best game that's been released this year so far. But we're still not that far in, and a lot of games have been cancelled. But
that 36 hours now, does that include a good chunk of the side quests, or are you kind of just mainline the story?
I did a lot of the side quests.
Okay.
I did do a lot of the side quests, but there is, if you look on my trophy list, you'll see that there is still a lot to do as well.
And are you going to go back to play it, or are you finished with it?
No, I think I'm going to go back to play it. There's, I think, one chapter you've got to play 3 times because you've got to get 9 bridal dresses.
Okay.
I'll let you find out about that one.
Don't want to know. Don't talk to me.
If any of you want to, when you're finished with it, I might have a chat to you afterwards. We might do a deal. If you don't want to keep it for your collection.
I'm afraid this is one that's definitely stayed in my collection.
I know. I thought that.
Yeah, it's Final Fantasy VII's always been, a particular. It was my induction to the Final Fantasy universe, and this, I just feel it plays into it so well.
Yeah. Hopefully May 5th now the local game stores will open here for me. somehow I'll be able to pick it up.
What about in Tesco's or something like that? Or
No,
equivalent
they don't sell games here at Tesco's. I don't. It's very different even though it's the same companies you have over. They don't do it. So and I'll pick it up eventually.
It's weird about the lack of consistency in stores that are international, isn't it?
It has a lot to do with VAT and tax as well.
Yeah.
Different, tax breaks, different stuff. So, yeah.
So anyway, that's sort of like spurred off my love of Final Fantasy. So I actually started to play again Final Fantasy 15.
Oh,
but superb game of one of the games of last year.
Yeah, but I'm struggling after coming from Final Fantasy VII on the control system for the combat at the moment. I'm just getting used to the different button configuration and all of that sort of thing. So I'm still early on. I've just dropped the car off with Sid, done the monster hunt, and found the bloke who's in the shed. So it's very early on in the game.
Yeah, well, I say it took me 50. I did it in 55 hours.
Yeah.
So plenty to do.
Well, we'll see how quickly I do it then. But
I went back. There's some large parts of the game where I like to go to, but
yeah,
I think you want to build up your characters. You see, this is the thing.
Well, at the moment, I picked up the Royal Edition, or rather, I got the standard. And then I picked up the season pass and that for the Royal Edition of it. And I think, it was something like $5.99 for the Royal Edition, but that didn't include the season pass. So I got the season pass as well. And so that should, I think, give me all of the content.
A lot of that content is to play out. Obviously, all the bits and bobs, whether it's image for the car or swords or whatever you get.
Yeah.
But there is DLC content that needs to be played once the game's finished.
Yeah.
Which is more story.
Yeah, more chapters, isn't it?
Yeah.
So anyway, I've got all of that, but I'm going to start battling my way through that, I think. I need a rest from Destiny, so I'm moving away from it, and I thought Final Fantasy, I might as well go down.
Oh, it's great. I just chill out. I used to chill out and go. See, sometimes I just go and go fishing for an hour with the boys. Go and find a camp spot and go fishing.
Yeah. And then he went home on Train Simulator.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. It's the same like just playing darts in Final Fantasy VII. I just, okay, I'm not going to play the game. I'm just going to play darts, Yakuza did the same sort of thing, didn't it, as well, if I remember rightly?
Yeah, I think so. Have you got your 6-star finish yet on Final Fantasy?
No, because I haven't been back since we last spoke, to be honest. But
yeah, well, I think if you've moved on from that area, I think you'll only get probably one other chance in terms of the story. Then you'll have to wait until chapter select.
Well, that's fine. That's not a problem, though, is it? Once the game's over and you chapter select and you want to tidy up some bits and pieces, it's not an issue. But it's just I didn't want to get involved in the story. I like to have another couple of hours to play the story and get deep in it without distractions. And if it's late at night and I'm too tired anyway, I wouldn't want to do it. So I just find something to fill for an hour, 25 minutes, 30 minutes, and just do something like that. But
yeah. Okay, so my last game then is a game called SiNKR. So this is a
sounds riveting
game. Yeah, this is a cheaper game, but it's a puzzle game, and I quite like doing puzzle games. So what this game relates to is you have to drag either squares or shapes using hooks into the corresponding holes. But a circle will go into a round hole, a circle will go into a round hole or a square hole, but a square will only go into a square hole to fill it. Which is where some of the complexity comes in. But then you also get different things like, for example, warps or, sort of like warp stroke duplicate gates, where if your shape goes into there, and it's labelled 2, it'll go to any other 2s that are on screen, and you can change a number of those, that sort of thing. There's directional flows so that you can change the direction of what your things start to move. There's cogs which you can reverse and, either way. And basically the idea is that you drag all of the shapes into the corresponding holes on the screen to clear that screen without any shapes being left over, because if you do, that's an instant fail of that level. It's not a massively long game. It's quite relaxing to play. I quite enjoyed it. When you start playing it, the levels do get a lot more complex and a lot more challenging to play. But once it's one of those games that's quite satisfying to actually sort of work out. But it's not overly massively long. I think that there's about 60 levels that you have to complete. Some of them you can do in, 10 or 15 seconds. Other ones will take you quite a while to sit there and figure it out on how it actually, works. But, it's just a nice sort of steady progression sort of game to keep adding extra things in every few levels that makes it a little bit more complicated. But for, a cheap puzzle game, it's a little bit of a gem of a game and well worth having a look.
Yeah, I googled it when I saw you playing it. It looked quite fun, actually.
Yeah, it's definitely different because, these hooks that you pull, whatever it is that you've got on some of the levels, you can actually interlock the hooks because the hooks only ever go one way. But if you've got two facing different directions, then you can get omnidirectional hooks, as it were, which makes it, a little bit more complicated as well. But like I said, it's just one of those cheap, daft little games. But I quite like playing them, and occasionally you come up with a little gem of one, and that one I particularly enjoyed. So I thought I would share that with everybody. Anyway, that's it. So anyone got anything else that they want to add?
No, not really.
No, not really, no.
Okay, in that case then, let's move on to movies, TV and streaming. Okay, so Alan is our news hound. So, Alan, away you go.
So, what I've seen now kind of coming up news the last weeks or few weeks is any Walking Dead fans out there, kind of the biggest question, if you read the comics, all of them 193 comics like I have, you're watching the shows, they never really told you how the virus started causing the zombie apocalypse. And it's always been kind of the ongoing thing. Will he ever reveal it? Now, there's a new show spin-off coming soon. I don't know, do you know? It's actually delayed for a couple of months. It was supposed to start after the end of the current Walking Dead, which is not finished yet. It's kind of... Have you seen the trailer for that, lads? No, the new spin-off?
No.
It looks quite good. It's kind of set in the future. The virus the zombies are pretty much done, and it's kind of society building back up. And it's kind of like kids now are kind of growing up. There's teenagers, and they're kind of kept in these big, like, enclosed kind of towns and cities, and they're not really showing anything outside those walls, So that if you get a chance to Google it, it looks quite good. So that kind of feeds into the Rick. If you look the current story, we know that's what happens with Rick. He's disappeared with the guys with the tree. Who are they? So anyway, Robert Kirkman, the guy who's created the show and everything, and the comics and everything, the joke has always been that it was aliens created the virus, but he's never said it. But he finally came out and said, yes, that it wasn't so much aliens, but it was a space, a kind of a spore from space had caused all the apocalyptic stuff that's happened on the planet. And he said that pretty much confirms it, and you'll find out more about that in the new show that's coming out. So look, it's only something small. If you're a fan, it's interesting, The comic finished there recently, and it was a great ending to the series. I don't know if you read the comics, lads. They finished it off very well. If you get a chance to read that, it's 193 comics there. It's very good.
Excuse me. Yeah, I've got a few on online actually.
Yeah.
My PC, not online. Sorry, I've got a few of them digitally. So yeah, worth a read.
Well, if spoilers for the next 30 seconds, I won't spoil the ending. But in the TV show, they killed off the son. But
you shouldn't have said that. You shouldn't have said that.
Why?
No, I ain't seen the end of it yet.
What happened? Of what? The Walking Dead?
No, I haven't.
How far into are you?
I've not. I've had to go back, and I'm in the process of.
Oh, sorry, because that happened.
Yeah, that's all right.
That happened many seasons ago.
Yeah, I know. I haven't seen that season yet. It's all right.
Oh,
yeah,
good.
no, he's.
That happened a while ago.
Yeah, he's just at the bit where I forgot what his name. It was, currently locked up in the thing.
The governor?
No, after the governor.
No, I've done the governor, and I've done
Negan.
I've done most of Negan.
Yeah.
So I'm a bit behind. But I'm probably going to go back to the very beginning at some point and may start from scratch.
Apologies about that.
No, that's right.
Anyway, in the comic, he doesn't die. So, and they finish it off with him really well.
Yeah.
So I won't say any more about that. Sorry, Steve.
It's like the Whisperers were from the comic, weren't they? And but they've never had them into the series up until this last couple of seasons.
Yeah. And the Whisperers are actually much bigger in the comic. Negan was actually a much bigger character in the comic as well. But they do that. Anyway, that's the Walking Dead news. The other one is that Sony have a new release date for the Uncharted movie. They're saying it's definitely going ahead and eventually will be made. But we'll see when the pandemic shuts down. It had supposed to start in October. Or start in this year for release next year in October. And now they've actually moved it up to July. A full 3 months earlier, so maybe it's going ahead faster than we thought. Tom Holland is going to star as Drake, Mark Wahlberg as his mentor Sully, and Antonio Banderas is going to be the villain, I'm guessing. So it's a nice cast, really. I think they've,
But it's obviously a very early Nathan Drake.
Yes, but it'll tell you how long this movie has been in production or all the trouble it's gone through, because Mark Wahlberg actually was supposed to be Drake all along, and now he's becoming Sully.
That was before Boogie Nights, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was when he was Marky Mark.
So I don't know if this movie. I think this movie could be dead in the gum before it comes out, but you just don't know.
Yeah.
And then finally, for us Star Wars fans, if you've seen the Rogue One movie, which is one of my favorite ones of the kind of the Star Wars stories.
Oh, absolutely.
They're doing a TV show, and they're well into production on it actually on Disney, the new Disney channel. It's going to take, and they finally kind of released information. It's going to take place 5 years before the events of Rogue One, the Star Wars story, which was the suicide mission to steal a Death Star plans. So Diego Luna is reprising his role as Cassian Andor, and they're also bringing back the actor Alan Tudyk, I can never pronounce his name, to play the deadpan droid K2, which I'm delighted about. I didn't realize he was going to be in it as well. So that's going to be a nice series because, which we were talking about earlier on, I think privately, the Mandalorian 3 has been given the go-ahead for season 3 as well already, before even 2 has come out. So that's great news as well. So good news on, I think Star Wars is going to live on the TV side of it much better than the movie side of it.
I think that's where Star Wars needs to be now.
Yeah, I think so too, definitely. So that's my news.
Okay. Steve, do you want to do the Blu-ray and DVD releases?
Okay, we've got a couple of highlighted ones here. We've got has anyone seen IP Man 4?
Yes, I have. It's fantastic. It's brilliant. Finish off the IP Man story timeline. It's
I don't know anything about it at all.
You have to watch them. It's brilliant.
It's got the guy off Rogue One on it as well, hasn't it?
And it's the true story, and it literally is the true story about Bruce Lee's mentor. And the first movie is how he escaped from oppression and everything to go and set up his studio, and kind of all these fights he had along the way.
Yeah.
There's 3 movies. There's actually 6 movies there, but the 4 of them there's IP Man 1, 2, and 3, and 4 are the main ones. But they actually went back and they did IP Man Grandmaster, and they've done IP Man Dragon Legend, which is a spin-off. One of the characters from the IP Man became quite popular.
Is it IP or is it IP?
IP, but I say IP. It's Ip Man is how it's pronounced.
But it's Donnie Yen who plays.
Yes, Donnie Yen. He's fantastic, and it's real kind of, how they do, The Crown. It's very kind of, how would you describe those shows? It's very of its time, I suppose. And
period based.
So Ip Man is very period based. It's the drama, but with some of the most stunning choreography fight sets you've ever seen, Steve. Trust me.
Mm-hmm.
1, 2, and I think 1, 2. I think they're available on Netflix or somewhere or
It's
Sky.
either Netflix or Amazon Prime.
And
one or the
Prime,
other.
I've seen them, but they all literally continue. When IP Man 1 finishes, the next one continues literally 2 minutes after they finish, even though there's a year or two before filming between them.
Yeah.
They're brilliant. I love them. I've watched them on numerous occasions, and I just watched IP Man 4 recently, and it was brilliant.
Oh, sweet.
And it finished off the story. It's a nice, if you're looking for something, it's a nice series, you know what I mean? It's a nice show to watch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ip Man 3 is actually on Netflix.
Yeah,
okay.
I knew the one was there. But yeah, and then they have a couple of spin-offs as well, which have been very good as well, and they've done quite well. So sorry enough cutting you off there, Steve.
That's right. No, the only other one we highlighted, we got Mortal Kombat Legends Scorpion's Revenge, Blu-ray DVD.
That's very good as well.
There's not a lot more other than that out at the moment, so
no, it's a bit rubbish.
Yeah, and I think it's going to get worse maybe as we go on.
Well, I'm okay because I've got a couple of movies coming from Arrow. I've got Sweet 16.
Oh, good.
And one I've been recommended by some guys, and which will probably come clear with another podcast. But I've never seen a film called Matinee, and I'm hearing Deadly Silence.
Is that a foreign one from? I'm gonna think of a different.
It was an 80s movie for Joe Dante about a cinema owner during the Cuban crisis.
And it's a young kid in it. I think I've seen this. It's a young kid.
You got John Goodman plays the cinema owner.
No, I'm thinking of the foreign. There's a foreign movie of that as well. I think that's a remake. Yeah,
Matinee. Hope that'll be coming soon.
Yeah, cool.
But yeah, no. So that's I know there's other bits and pieces that you can go back on that you've not picked up maybe, but I think the releasing of Blu-rays is still probably pretty much set in stone for a few months.
Yeah, it's the ones later in the year that would have been released from the ones that have been released in the cinema now that it's going to be impacted.
That's what I think. I think next January, February, March kind of will be because you won't have those summer blockbusters that would be coming out on Blu-rays,
Yeah, well, hopefully they'll invest some time in bringing back some classics in 4K or whatever.
Yeah,
that'd be the whole.
Well, as I said before earlier, I mean, George is definitely coming out on the 1st of June, so that's been in the pipeline for some time. So yeah. Okay, who's doing the charts?
I'll do the chart. So we've got at number 5, we've got Le Mans 66. At number 4, we've got Knives Out. Which we had the question of, is it any good? Yes, it is good, and I hate Ryan Johnson, and I'm saying that. At number 3, Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle and the Next Level. Dual pack. At number 2, we've got Frozen 2, and at number 1, we've got Jumanji, the Next Level, which is a fantastically good fun movie. So I think we've all had a turn going first, so I'll go first on what we've been watching this week.
Yeah, I'll just turn off for a minute. What are you doing?
I'm not going to do spoilers on this one.
I've only seen 2 episodes, so
yeah, I'm doing this spoiler free, basically, as best as I can. So basically, Afterlife season 2, Ricky Gervais is back for his second instalment of the hit show of Afterlife. The show follows Andy, who's a man suffering from grief and depression due to the death of his wife, who has died of cancer. Season 1 was all about Andy coming to terms with his wife's death and trying to avoid suicide. And Season 2 is about him trying to rebuild his life in the aftermath of, such devastating news that anybody would have. So all I'm going to say about this show is just simply incredible. While listening to the story synopsis, you might think, well, that sounds completely horrible and depressing. It's actually far from it. There is still the ghost of Ricky Gervais of old, i.e. there is still a little bit of that, coarse language and, well, a lot of coarse language and the Office sort of humour very occasionally, but not in a David Brent sort of fashion. But this whole series, season 1 and 2, is much more I would say, clever, charming, intelligent, and humanistic in terms of the way that it's delivered. The show's a real tearjerker of a show, but in a positive sort of light. And in just 6 short episodes, I would say that Ricky Gervais gives one of the best performances of his entire career. Watching it, it was enthralling watching him play the part and what his character is going through. This is a great character-led dark comedy, which this time gives a lot more space for other characters to grow and develop in the series. So you're introduced to several characters, his brother-in-law, people who he works with, and somebody, his father and the nurse who's helping him out. You get to see a lot more of that character development in this season, and also his absolutely adorable dog as well. And I think for me, after losing both of my parents in the last 2.5 years, I could completely empathise with a lot of the emotions that he was suffering. I mean, I know losing a parent's not the same as losing a partner, but there were bits that I could relate to in what was portrayed on screen. And even if you don't like Ricky Gervais, I would say watch this because it will completely change your mind about him. My wife loathed to detest him because for her, Ricky Gervais was David Brent, and that's the humour that he did. Since seeing this, or season 1 of this, she's actually become a bit of a fan, and she actually has now gone back and watched Derek as well.
Derek is
she
fantastic,
loved.
yeah.
Derek is a fantastic thing. And anybody who says that program's disgusting because it's taking the mick out of disabled people, it doesn't. It's actually in support of them, and it's showing that they are. They're not people to be afraid of. That they're just like us, basically, which is exactly what they are. So, and this is I think this is where he's really found his space, much better than The Office, in every way, shape, or form. This is an absolutely, utterly fantastic must-watch.
Great, I look forward to it. I'm 2 episodes in now, so I'm looking forward to finishing it.
Well, we binged watched it in 3 hours.
Oh, God.
Yeah, you think I would probably, if I had a spare evening where we weren't going to watch anything else, and then I had no distractions, no call out or anything else that's going to get in the way.
Yeah.
I think that's a good time to sort of go for it, really.
Well, to be honest, all it was, we sat down, we just made tea. It was 4:30. We sat down, we just watched the really, really depressing, press conference opening talk about how many people had died and whatever.
So, yeah, I miss all that, luckily.
Yeah, well, I'm working from home. My wife's off sick at the moment, so we were sat down, and I said, "Let's watch the first Ricky Gervais." And then the next thing that we knew, it was 7:30, and it was like, "Oh, we've watched it all."
That's a good sign, though.
Yeah, we couldn't turn away. It was such a brilliant show, and it's just fantastic. It's the best TV I've seen all year.
Yeah,
and I mean right from this time last year when I saw the first season. Brilliant. The other thing I would say is there's a really interesting watch on Netflix, which I haven't put in the notes, but I only just watched it just before I came on. And they've actually done a documentary, which is going to be part of a mini-series, which is Coronavirus Explained.
Oh.
So it's
is that well, no, I'm not going to. No, forget it. I was going to say something. I'm not going to say anything.
No, it's a documentary which is explaining about what coronavirus is and the theories about how it has evolved, and also the possibilities of future pandemics as well. And it's got people like Bill Gates and that on it talking as well. because
Okay.
obviously he does a lot of work in this sort of area now through his, the Gates Foundation.
Yeah.
So really, really well worth watching it. We watched it, and I thought, oh God, it's only episode 1, and they're obviously going to do it, release it weekly or whatever. I was a bit disappointed because it was really interesting. So another good watch. So,
Excuse me.
who wants to go next?
You want to go, Steve?
Yeah, okay, I haven't got too much. I want to ask you
I
something
haven't
as well. So, as you know, Hayden, I finished Arrow last week.
Mm.
I actually did shed a tear for this program.
Yeah, I did too.
Especially the very ending of it as well, which gives us. I think it leaves it in limbo, to be honest.
Yeah, it does.
I think.
Yeah, but they are doing the Arrow Canary spin-off that they did that pilot episode.
Oh, have they? I've not heard about
That's
that yet.
why. Well, you watched the episode, didn't you? They had it because it felt very much out of sorts. I thought they had it kind of. It was in episode 11 or something. Was the Arrow Canary spin episode with his daughter?
Oh, okay. I mean, she was in another TV show. I can't remember what it was called now. To do with vampires, was it, or something? I think.
Yeah. Well, what I'm hearing is that's how they're continuing the Arrow kind of universe.
That's okay, but that'd be in the future, won't it? Sort of thing. But it was nice to see how it finished. There was Sky put on, because I thought there was an episode before the last one, which was like a lead up to saying, no, this will be the last episode. So we're chatting to the cast and crew.
Oh, yeah.
Which was quite nice to do. And, it's I've watched this from day one and loved every one of them. I think I've still got a few of them digitally sticking around, some of the early seasons. But yeah, it was a shame to see it go. Now, I don't want any spoilers, Alan, but you're ahead of me because I'm watching it on Sky, okay? But I don't know anyone else like me that adores Modern Family. And where am I up to now? I'm up to where there's going to be possibly an extra baby.
I haven't got long to go, so yeah. You haven't got long to go, so.
No, I've got them all still on my hard drive on Sky, and I constantly go back to this show because it never fails to make me I always laugh. It doesn't stop, and
I found it poor now. The last two seasons, I think it was good to finish. I think, but I'm gutted.
All good things have come to an end in any TV series.
Yeah,
and it was great to see the kids. It's great to see the kids grow up in 10 years. Yeah, because they've actually been growing up. The show's gone every year, so you're watching.
When you see the documentary they did for.
Oh mate! Apparently the last episode is a 2-hour episode. Is that right, or something, or 2 double episodes?
It's 2 double episodes, yeah, and then they have a long documentary as well afterwards. So the whole thing is like 2 hours maybe.
Yeah.
But the documentary, some of the stuff, you're like, oh my, it's hard to believe 10 years has gone like that, or 11 years.
When you go back to the very beginning and you go back to when Cam and that brought back the child they adopted at the and she's grown up like you wouldn't believe. But I can't praise this show enough. And some people say, what are you on about? What show is this? And I said, it's been on Sky for 10 years, And
well, they gave it a great send off, I have to say. It's probably one of the best endings to a show. Sometimes shows don't end well and you get disappointing. This ends very well.
Well, that's the same with Big Bang Theory when that finished as well, But we did actually, me and Mrs. decided to just, I don't know what happened. One early evening we started watching. I just picked a season at some point, and they're 20 minutes a time on Netflix, aren't they? Yeah. So we must have gained about a fair old few. We just let them roll.
3 an hour, yeah.
Yeah, and we just let them roll for 3 hours, and we're just laughing again. I think laughter at the moment is the best medicine we can have at the moment with what's going on. So, but yeah, no, it was really good. Yeah. So the only thing I want to talk about briefly. I think you've both now seen In Search of Darkness, horror doc.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I didn't get to speak to you, Alan. I can't remember when you last watched it or not.
Yeah.
Anyhow, so the new Kickstarter from creator VC Studios went live a few days ago.
Yeah.
Which is going to be In Search of Tomorrow, which is a science fiction documentary.
Yeah, I saw the trailer for it.
Yeah, and this is going to be based on the 80s science fiction. And I've already backed this project myself, and well up for this one. I think the quality of documentaries they do and who they bring on board with what they're talking about, if you're with me, is just second to none. And this project, if I can find it now, they were after. Wait, if I go kick one back. Sorry about this. It's just different on live here because I have to find it. So the goal was £32,000 for this documentary. They've pledged 100. They've got so far pledged 123,000.
Oh, that's very good.
And it's great. 21. It's 21 more days to go to back it. So what they've got is they've got pledges. If I just read a brief outline. So this is a chance to immerse yourself in the world of myths of the 80s science fiction. Our project combines a 4-hour plus epic documentary with the ultimate members of science fiction community to create an experience that delivers value for the money for the moment of you becoming a backer. So the backing starts at £10, and the biggest back, if I go to the bottom, the biggest back is 4,800.
Wow!
If you feel flush. Which is called the Luke Skywalker one. But I mean, I won't go through the what you get now, but I'll just say I backed the Admiral Kirk pledge, so you can go and have a look and see what's on there. But that includes T-shirt, Blu-ray, DVD, digital version as well, and I get my name in the credits again. So if you fancy doing something different with your money, have a check this out. I think it's thoroughly worth it. I've never this would be my second Kickstarter, but from the quality of what I've seen so far, and also I actually went onto Amazon and I bought their first documentary, which is in search of the action hero of the 80s.
Yeah,
and that's on there, or you can rent it. It's well worth a watch. Going back to all those big stars, obviously like Stallone. You know, all those with Rambo and whatever else we've got. Another great documentary, well worth a watch if you're into your movies. It's just a definite watch. If you check out the trailer as well, I think that would sell it as well more than anything if you're into doing something like this.
Yeah, the horror one was very good.
Oh, it was, and the science fiction one, anything and everyone is going to be in this. They've got a lineup. John Carpenter will be back. They've got people like Sean Young, Henry Thomas, Lance Guest. There's about 50 names attached to the project already. So definitely worth looking into. But yeah, that's my bit done.
Excellent.
Right.
Me, I'll just go quick, lads. I have just one movie I watched, and I was looking forward to this one. Is Extraction. It just came out on Netflix yesterday or the day before, I think.
Friday, wasn't it?
Was it Friday? Was it? I think I watched it yesterday because the Wi-Fi came back for a couple of hours, and I got that and 2 episodes of Afterlife done before I went again. So I was looking forward to this one for a few reasons. The first one is the director is Sam Hargrave. If you know him, he used to be the stuntman for a lot of the MCU movies, including, and worked with the Russo brothers on Winter Soldier, Civil War, and he's actually been a double for Chris Evans in a few of them as well.
Yeah, he
kind of choreographs a lot of the movies. He's actually very talented. If you've seen those movies, like Winter Soldier is definitely one of the best. They also, so Chris Hemsworth, who kind of drops the hammer and takes up the gun, he's the main star in it. And I have to say it was good. So the premise of the story, the movie, I won't give too much away, is Hemsworth plays a mercenary called Tyler Rack, who's been and then there's this teenage son of a drug lord called Ovi, who's been kidnapped. So Tyler has been called in to rescue him in Bangladesh. But the job is kind of set up. He doesn't get paid for it. So the drug lord second in command, Soji, who lost the kid in the first place, he kind of goes after Tyler to capture the kid back. You know, it's a very simple story. You know, it's not a brain twister, if you put it that way. Like, the story is very thin, but it's just action from start to finish. It really is a white knuckle flick. It's stunning looking. You're going through like the gauntlet of like streets of Bangladesh. The gunplay is John Wick the action style. If you've ever seen the Raid movies or Mad Max movies, it's very much like that. And then the fight style is very much like Bourne movie, which is like that up close shaky cam look. Now, I know a lot of people don't like that and it's very well done in this. Now, the most impressive thing about it, and you can actually see the making of it online, there's a 12-minute single shot piece, right? And I watched this before I even saw the movie, and it made me want to really watch the movie because it's a 12-minute single shot that moves from car chase to foot chase through the apartments and in the streets and everything. Now, what makes it interesting is director strapped himself to the front of the follow vehicles with this kind of like one stabilized camera, and they set up the whole sequence that he follows the main Crims Hemsworth inside in the car, right? He's in the car behind, so he's doing like close-up shots. And then when they come to a stop, he slides off the front of the bonnet that he's falling on, and he jumps into the passenger seat of Hemsworth's car. And then he's in the action with them while they're reversing out of different situations. Then he jumps out of that into another set piece where he's following them off a building, and because he's a stunt expert, he follows them perfectly, and the whole shot it's like if you've seen 1917 where it's all kind of looks like a one shot, this is very similar, but it's all done in tight quarters, and the camera style is very good. It moves along at a really fast pace, I have to say, and then it stops every now and then, for brief interludes of emotional story, kind of connecting with the kid. It's nothing that we haven't seen before, but the action sequences alone are worth watching this movie. I thoroughly enjoyed it. For me, I'd give it kind of a really good solid 3 out of 5 for rating for me. I didn't really have any issues with it. I just enjoyed the action. I really enjoyed the camera style of it. And another thing as well is that Hemsworth is actually very good at it. He's actually 6'3" in real life. He's like
big guy.
Yeah, and in this movie, you really notice how big he is. There's a couple of sequences where he's doing, I know it's all choreographed and planned, but some of the fight sequences are just really, really well done, and he looks huge. And it's just a really good movie. I highly recommend anyone to watch it. It's one of those, and it's on Netflix, so why wouldn't you? I really enjoyed it. Alone for the camera work and just the style of the movie. The Russo brothers wrote and produced it as well, so it's got
credibility there, isn't it?
Yeah, and it isn't a bad story, and I enjoyed it. I will give it that way. And then secondly, I'm halfway through Gangs of London on Sky, and I'm also halfway through Mystic Quest on Apple TV, and I'm going to talk about them next week. Both of them have been really, really good. So that's kind of what I watched.
Cool.
Okay. Well, anybody got anything else, or shall we go on to listener questions?
Yep. Straight over.
Okay, so listener questions, and as always, we have Mark kicking us off with how has it been in lockdown affected both your gaming and your life generally?
Alan?
My gaming, really, if it wasn't for Journey to Savage Planet, I haven't done a massive amount of gaming, really. I'm missing work. I know, talking to you, Haydn, and talking privately and stuff, I found this week a little bit difficult. It was nice to be able to do some jobs and stuff, but I'm feeling very unproductive at the moment for someone who's worked for 16 hours a day in a kitchen.
Yeah.
I'm finding not having productive value or getting gratification or even getting praise, which, when you're in my business, you get a lot of praise, but you also get criticism. And I didn't think I'd missed it as much as I do.
Is that when the steak goes out medium rare and they wanted it well done or something like that? That's
usually the customer's fault. That's never my fault.
No,
Customers, I cook a steak. Trust me.
Mate, I know exactly what you mean.
And the customers who think a medium rare is too rare, then that's a medium steak. But no, it's not. I suppose more having a value. Maybe that makes more sense.
You do a lot of hours as well. I mean, forget myself. You do put a lot of hours in, but when you get to go back to work, That's going to be tough.
Yes, it will be. I've spoken to my wife about that. That I think because it's been so, like I'm on day 40 now today of not working, which is the longest in 35 years of my career that I haven't been in the kitchen. I've gone 2 weeks, but never 40
Have you
days.
been
Like,
cooking at home to keep in
Yeah.
swing?
yeah, baking away, usual stuff. But it's all kind of just simple stuff. It's not, baking scones and cakes and doing nice dinners and
It's not like
stuff.
doing
But
a, it's not like doing a pea puree, is it?
Oh, no. It's not like my a la carte menu that I spent a year planning, and doing tastings and stuff like that. But has it changed? I suppose I have more time for running, and I've done a lot more running. And I've watched a lot more stuff on TV. My list of stuff to watch has been ticked off hugely. My shows and stuff. But I suppose I'm finding days longer now at the moment than I had before. So that's kind of the only difference for me. What about yourself?
Go on, Steve.
I'm probably exempt because my days are exactly the same as they were before it happened. I'm busy at work and I come home.
So do you feel jealous that we're not at work as much as you? Not jealous, but do you not feel like, God, why am I at work every bit at home?
But to be honest with you, I need to pay the bills. And if I was in that position having to speak to the banks and everyone else about having 3 months, I'd rather be here now just carrying on working and doing our bit that we do. I know we're not the NHS, but we provide a service, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we do work for the NHS as well, actually. So, but yeah, it's just ploughing on with what we do, really. And, it's tough because it's a different scenario. We mix with the public and we mix with a lot of people, but we have to be careful now, and that's always in the back of your mind, as I've said before. We talked about it, so yeah.
I mean, for me, the more it changes, the more it stays the same, to be honest, because I've done a lot of working from home because, a lot of my work is computer-based, and it doesn't particularly matter whether or not I'm in my actual office or I'm, at home, because I can connect to all of the core systems. I've got a mobile that I can ring anybody that I want to, or I can Skype people. So for me, work is sort of like work. I mean, the main difference has been for me is I was in a video meeting on Friday with, partners from, across North Yorkshire. And then my wife walks in, laughing and joking on the phone, but, like shouting down the phone as she does. I say, I'll just ask Haydn if he can. So I'm like waving my hand going, get lost.
Well, it's like, do you remember, did you see that video of, there was a guy that was having an interview on the BBC?
Yeah, it was exactly like that.
And his son walked in.
He lost
gave him a load of abuse.
Yeah. I thought that was a joke first.
Yeah, and it was the one where the little kid walks in, and then the nanny comes in, and then a little baby comes in, and she drags them out, as well as that one as well, isn't there? But yeah, it was just one of those sort of random sort of sequences. And somebody who I work with, she turned around and she sort of said, that was just so funny because I could just see your hand waving just behind you, telling her to, bugger off, as it were. Which was just amusing, but because normally she's quite respectful of that, but I just think she'd forgotten herself at that moment. She was chatting to a friend and just had forgotten the fact that I was in a meeting, because I always say, right, I am in a meeting between 2 and 3, don't come in, sort of thing. Because she uses a downstairs loo. Now the downstairs loo is 2 meters away from where I'm sat, because my desk is next to the door. So if she comes in and sits on the loo, you can hear her tinkling away when I'm in a meeting, which is not exactly the best sort of thing. And,
it's funny
we've been on a podcast where that happened, haven't we?
I had to do some training on Tuesday, and it was about 2 hours online. So it was like a video call.
Yeah.
So I just said, look, I'm at work, don't bother me. Actually, I ended up being at home all day because I was doing some quotes and other bits and pieces to get to customers, because I needed to do that because some other people couldn't do their job. So, but yeah, I used to I'm in that room, just don't bother. I'm not here,
Yeah.
Don't think I can go and put the rubbish out or make a cup of tea. I'm not around.
Yeah, I don't know what your wife's be like, but my wife will have got us as well. I've done a dishwasher and I've, made some food and I've done some hoovering up. And it's sort of like with that.
Do you want a medal for that?
Well, that's my exact thing, because I turn around and say, well, I've been working. You're off. I've been working.
Yeah.
And it's just sort of like that distinction of, sometimes I think that it's that forgetting about the fact that I am actually at work. I am not at home. The difference is I can play whatever music I like while I work, and I like to play like instrumental music, that sort of stuff when I work, just to have background sound so it's not completely silent, because I find silence deafening. I need some noise, but I can't have conversation and people talking, and I'm dreading going back to work, because I am going from being in my own personal office that I shared with me to because I'm in a new role, going into an open plan office, and I know my productivity is going to go down by at least 60% because I'm not going to be able to concentrate. So I'm going to want to work from home more. But, I've been told I can work from home at least one day a week, which is fine.
Yeah.
But, to me, having to go to an office now is a complete waste of time. It's just a waste of my time and my petrol, because I can do what I can do here. And it's like even teaching. I teach on a Monday evening, and I am teaching again on a Monday evening. And, I am delivering a digital photography course online.
Yeah.
And the reason, and I know that people probably go, how do you do that? And that's because the way that I've always taught the course, because there's nothing more boring than if you want to do a certain type of photography, that you end up going on a course and you're just taking pictures of bowls of fruit. And how many times do you want to take a picture of a bowl of fruit? What I do is I teach people the background, the theory, composition, all of that sort of stuff in the lesson. And then I say, right, your homework is go and take some pictures and use what you've learnt. And then they go away and then they come back the next week with the pictures. So we're using Microsoft Teams to deliver that so that they can then share their pictures with me. And, we've literally, it's the first time that we've done it, but that might actually mean I don't have to go to Harrogate in the future to deliver this course, because it could be delivered online, which would save me an hour and a half travel. And the petrol that's involved as well, just by delivering it online. And that might appeal to more people who maybe can't get to the course as well. So there's a lot of things that have actually come out of this that has been quite advantageous from my kind of point of view. What I do find the biggest change for me is that life feels like it's slowed down a little bit, because days feel longer, but I feel like I have less me time, but I have a lot more family time.
Yeah.
It's strange, but we've all got three very different experiences of of what this sort of situation's like. You've got the complete lockdown, Alan, you're not working. Steve, your job is pretty inelastic in terms of it, and mine is adaptive. So, three completely different points of view on that, and that's quite interesting.
Yeah.
So, Steve, do you want to ask Mark's second question?
Yeah, so do you collect anything that you may have not previously mentioned on the show? So do you have a condom collection maybe or something, or what?
I don't know, but have you watched The Tiger King?
Not yet. No, I haven't done about it.
Very good.
Yeah, just wait until you get to the condom bit.
Yeah.
That is actually quite funny. You'll know what we mean by that if you haven't seen it, Steve. But absolutely. I forgot. I just watched that recently, and that was absolutely hilarious.
Yeah. So, has anyone got anything they're collecting, like maybe we don't know about, or they want to sort of talk about, or want some therapy about it?
No, I don't. No.
You've got a collection of blow-up dolls, maybe, or something. I don't know.
No, but I've seen your collection. It's impressive, Steve.
Yeah, real hair.
Yeah. I'm not sure where that hair's from, though.
Well, I tell you what, I've got a lot on my head at the minute. And around my face, I've got a bit of a beard growing.
Right.
So no, I think everyone knows what I got. So
No, I don't. I'm the same. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, I've mentioned it. I've gone back to records after many years. But no, I think that we talk about all of the sort of things that
I think so too.
we really collect. I can't think of anything else.
No, I mean,
my favourite collection is money. That's my favourite thing to collect.
Yeah, but the funny thing is now, because of the way the world is, you can't have cash.
No.
People still do. I don't understand that. That's the most dirtiest way to transfer any sort of disease is via a pound. Well, not a pound note as such, but via a note, or a coin.
Alan, do you want to do these?
I haven't got the. Sorry.
Have you not?
No, I can't open it. For some reason, it doesn't open the docs.
Oh, okay.
Sorry about that.
It's all right. So Lee Doherty's asking, with the recent big games being added to PS Now, like Spider-Man and Control, do you think it will ever rival Game Pass? And will Sony invest more in streaming services into the next gen to compete with Microsoft?
I don't think it will compete with Microsoft at the moment.
I don't think it will either. No.
They haven't got a chance in hell at the moment.
They really have. No, they have to put all their exclusives day one. And if Microsoft actually come out with good games next gen, fingers crossed they will. Like a lot more exclusives than they did this generation. If they go straight onto Game Pass, PlayStation won't do that. So I don't think they'll compete.
I agree with what you're saying to a certain extent, but I think if they see what way the wind's blowing, that they have every option of changing that direction, and I think that they might well, if they believe they're losing out, and they haven't turned into arrogant Sony that they did generation before last, that they might then change to be more Game Pass model. I mean, if you look, PlayStation Now, when it first started, was a streaming only service. Most of the games you can download.
Yeah, but I think the next generation, the PlayStation is still going to outsell the Xbox a lot more. I don't think it's going to be much difference to it. I think Xbox are pivoting towards that platform rather than the box. Like they'll have you on the phone, the PC. You're kind of more in their universe than an individual box. Where the PlayStation will always be that exclusive single-player box kind of. And
you can play PlayStation Now on your PC or on your TV.
I know you can do that, yeah. But I'm just saying, if they sell 100 million consoles again next time around, why wouldn't? And so then, they bring out an exclusive game, like we'll say Horizon 2 or God of War 2. On the Xbox, that would go straight to Game Pass, yeah? Mm-hmm. But on the PlayStation, they're going to sell 15, 20 million copies of it and have a way bigger money intake. So I think they're going to stay that format. Xbox are pivoting towards the universe, the whole kind of platform environment. And the Switch is a Switch.
They'll have a good deal with the new Xbox as well. So it'd be a win-win for Microsoft.
Yeah.
That's not being too blinkered by what PlayStation are trying to give. I don't think they can compete with Game Pass at the moment unless they really change their strategy and how they will use what they've got in place, or especially with the Ultimate as well, the Ultimate Game Pass, because obviously the Ultimate Game Pass you have Xbox Live and
can you imagine?
I think that they have the potential to completely change it, and especially with a new generation coming.
They won't put a game like God of War, like one of their exclusive games, the same as Microsoft's gone doing, on day one on a streaming service. No way. Sony won't do it. PlayStation won't do it. They won't do it.
No, they can earn too much money from it.
Yeah. Where Xbox have over the last few years completely pivoted to that monthly or that yearly, like the Netflix format, we suppose we'll call them, world, where they have 20 million people. Like, think of WoW, you have 20 million people on their service paying a monthly or yearly charge, so they're getting a bigger revenue that side of it then for them. I can't see it.
No.
Do you think what might change it, and I'm wondering if this might happen, is we've heard talk about PlayStation saying they can't get the parts, that the PS5 is going to be extremely limited.
Yeah.
And Phil Spencer saying, we're all right, Jack.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's say, because of that, everybody jumps. I can't see everybody jumping to Xbox, especially at the moment because people have less money. But let's say a miracle happens and everybody jumps to Xbox and the PlayStation is underpowered, as they're saying it is, in comparison to the Xbox.
Yeah.
So the Xbox becomes the 40 million and the PlayStation becomes the 12 million. What do we think? Do we think that they might reinvent PlayStation now then?
No, because I think they'll do the same as the PlayStation 3. PlayStation 3 sold more than the Xbox 360 in its lifetime.
But they had it running for a lot longer as well.
But they still stood their ground. They got the single player. They learned how to develop better for towards the end of the generation. The games came out. That's why they kept it going longer. I think Xbox messed up so much this generation from the beginning. It was just too much. And yeah, Phil Spencer has done, I mean, they really have turned it around towards the end, you know. There's a lot more positivity towards the platform now than there was in the beginning, I think. For non-fans, or like, I know we're kind of Xbox fan by some of us. Like, I just think Sony have too much of a hold. I think they're going to sell straight out of the gate, and they're going to hit 100 million, no problem. Again, in over the 5-year cycle, I think, and that's a massive customer base for day one $60-$70 games, or £60-50 games, or whatever. You know. It's just,
people when it gets to the point of a few big releases coming out one after the other, bang, bang, bang.
Yeah,
you can't afford to spend 150 quid.
No.
If you're on Game Pass and they're on Microsoft, you can Halo, Forza, Fable when it ever gets announced. Do you know what I mean? You have all those big games there to play.
But Microsoft need the games this time, Steve.
Yeah. There's a few.
I know we have the Halos and the few normal ones, the Forza and the Halos and all, like the Gears. We have the standard, but they need a God of War. They need something.
And I hate to say it, but Halo is not a God of War.
No, it's not anymore. Even Gears isn't anymore either.
No.
Gears needs a break anyway, to be honest.
Like, they've got Blood. What's that? Bloodborne. They've had the Spider-Man, they've had Horizon, they've had just hit after hit, and like highly acclaimed games, you know.
Well, they're very story-based games,
yeah.
Like Detroit Most Human or whatever, and games like that.
All of the big popular games are all single-player games primarily.
Yeah. Where Microsoft haven't had it as much, you know what I mean? Like they've had a few indie hits, like Cuphead and the recent Ori and the Wisp, and like they've had little hits here and there, but they've had way more misses and disappointment, I think.
Well, I think we haven't got long. We've got about 6 weeks probably till about when they have their little live video show that we'll be doing.
And that needs to be games.
Yeah.
It needs to be.
Oh, it will be.
We've seen the box. We've seen the spec.
My fingers
everything.
are crossed for a new Fable reboot.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Just.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Or just something like different, Steve, you know? That's at the standard of, well, obviously, hopefully we'll have better graphics and better frame rates and everything but something like the God of War that just comes out of nowhere and just, you know, you don't have that.
Don't want multiplayer, just a standalone, excellent story-based game that...
No, I think Haydn's favourite game, Hellblade 2, could be a big one. That if they do it as good and not better than the first one, you know what I mean? If they just that could be a game changer as well for the Xbox, you know?
Definitely.
And that company. So look, I'm hopes, as you know, I'm an Xbox fan, so.
Well, we'll wait and see, won't we?
Yeah. Good question, though. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, Steve, do you want to do polls?
Yes, so Paul Wilson says, due to the gym being closed, I've had to seek alternative methods, but thankfully I've managed to buy a Nintendo Ring Fit at a recommended retail price, as opposed to the crazy inflatable, or should I say inflated, eBay prices. Have any of you used a Ring Fit or similar game consoles to get the fit device or a game in the past? If so, at what time did it work for you?
I must admit, I've not seen a Nintendo Ring Fit.
Yeah,
I've seen the trailer for it. I thought it was a bit of a joke at first, but yeah.
No, it's by all accounts, it's pretty good. Even a lot of professionals race it and everything. It's selling for massive money online. It's sold out everywhere. So I'm surprised he got one.
It's the same way when the original Wii Fit came out, didn't it?
Mm.
That sort of went sort of mental, and you're trying to get hold of one of those was for loving the money was you know. Have you had a Wii Fit and stuff like that in the past? Anything like that?
No, I had the Wii Fit board, but I used to do the Insanity workout on the Xbox when it first came out. They had a kind of a fitness section there, and they had all these 25-minute fat hit burns. You know, you'd follow along, and the camera would track you and stuff, and you had like videos. It was pretty good. It was free. I used to do that.
It was on the Xbox. Well, the Xbox One, I think it was.
Yeah, it was a fitness app or something.
Yeah.
It got taken down. It got closed
up. But before then, back on the 360, we used to have a play with the one where you would like punch bags of boxes.
Yeah.
With the camera.
Connect Adventures.
No. This wasn't Connect. No, this was.
I know the one you're on about. Yeah. Yeah, Connect. I know the one you're on about. Yeah.
And there was
a UFC fighter one or something, wasn't it?
They did one of those. It's what you have. Yeah. You would have you could do Tai Chi. Yeah. You could do cardio with boxing of these blocks you would use, and it would turn into a game because you could have a second part. Your partner doing the fit as well, and it tell you how many calories you burn. I've actually still got it. I've got one of them still for my 360 in the lounge because there's never been anything like it since. It's not to say died a death, but I think everyone just gets a video out of some scantily clad celebrity that sits there and does Pilates in front of you, and you sort of copy it on the screen, you know.
Yeah. Okay, another good question.
Yeah.
Right, last one.
Okay,
Nicky.
last one is Nick Wilson, and he's asking. He just purchased a gaming chair, GT Omega Pro XL, for £270. What do you sit on to game, and are these gaming chairs a waste of money and a fad, as they always seem to be freezing cold on hot UK deals?
That's a personal preference, isn't it? Because I like to sit on the settee in the lounge. In here, I'll have my squeaky chair, and I'm quite comfortable on that.
I have just a normal kind of I don't know how you describe it. Just a chair, like with the cushions, and it's very comfortable. Never really use gaming chairs. I just kind of go for comfort.
They're a luxury, aren't they?
I just have a nice grey. I don't know how you describe it. It's just a normal grey chair with two handles and very cushioned and a nice cushioned back, and it's a high back. It's really comfortable. I can sit back, happy out.
Well, I had, the sort of like leather-backed office chairs for years, and I went through probably about 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah.
Because they only ever seemed to last a couple of years before they started to sort of perish, as it were. Yeah, things like armrests and stuff like that.
Or you start to feel the thing up the middle, the pipe.
Yeah, all of that sort of stuff. But so I invested in an Empire Gaming Mamba gaming chair, which is white and black, and has adjustable 3D arm rests and neck and lumbar support as well. And I've had this one now for 2 years. Thereabouts, and it's fantastic, and it's just as comfortable as it was when I first got it. The only thing I did do was just take the lumbar support off, because the lumbar support didn't really work.
Yeah, kind of an arch,
it more just pushed me, so I felt like I was sat on the edge of the seat rather than actually feeling like it was supporting my lumbar area. So I just removed that, but I keep the headrest on, and it's a really comfortable chair. I can sit in this chair for hours and hours and hours, but that's when I'm on my PC. When I'm playing on the Xbox now, I have a little 2-seater sofa, because my movie viewing and console gaming area is separate to my PC area in my little man cave, or as I call it, the den. So I've got a little 2-seater sofa there, so that me, and when my son wants to play him as well, we can sit there and play Mario Kart or whatever it is that we want to play. So Okay, well, that's it for the questions for this week. So thanks very much,
Great.
and keep on
Thanks,
sending
yeah.
them in as well.
Yeah, great
So,
questions.
yeah, good questions. So it's just our normal contact details. Alan, do you want to go first?
Yeah, it's just at Head Chef Alan is on Twitter, Xbox and PSN is Chef Alan, and then email is gingergamer@yahoo.com.
Steve?
Yeah, Twitter's the best place to find me, at Steve007. Obviously, gamer tag for the Xbox is the same, and for PlayStation, it's the real Steve007 because I couldn't have my old one back, but never mind. So,
Okay. And for mine, everything is pretty much HERJ UK. That's YouTube, Twitter, PSN, Xbox Live, Steam, Great Old Games, all of that sort of stuff. Apart from Epic Games, which is Pop Culture Gamers. Don't forget as well that you can follow the show as well on Twitter at Pop Culture Gamer. We've got a Facebook group and a Facebook page which you can go to and join. If you've got any inquiries, you can email podcast@popculturegamers.co.uk. There's also our website, popculturegamers.podbean.com. We also have a Patreon if you want to help out there as well. Or if you want to help out in a non-financial way, then please do remember to tell people about the podcast, share it in any groups that you've got, retweet us, or just give us a nice review on iTunes. That would be very good as well. Other than that, that's it for another week. Alan, I think that we're back for a midweek show, aren't we, this week? At some point, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully no. Again, it depends on my internet. You know yourself, Hayden.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Fingers crossed, because I have a lot of notes done for that midweek one.
Yeah, so this week, midweek special is going to be a deep dive look at the Flash Gordon movie from 1980, starring Sam Jones.
Yes.
So, and we've got lots of lovely information to tell you about that film, which you might not have known before.
Yeah.
Particularly interesting is who it was who was originally going to be playing Flash Gordon. Anyway.
Me.
What's happening, Flash? Right, okay. So thanks very much, and thank you to you guys as well for coming and doing a show with me. So thanks to Alan, thanks to Steve.
Thanks, lads. Yeah, Slán.
I will see you next time. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye.
Cheers.